what is necessary and what do you need for that successful program. We designed and we discussed, after a lot of research, 9 successful steps to create that loyalty program. The first one, I think it's not a surprise, but it's also the most important one. Nail your basics. Make sure that your product is good. You can have any loyalty program that's as great as it is, but if your product is not good, no one will return. I think it makes sense, but it's very important to realize and to state. Just as an example, you can just, what is it? You can just have a very great product with a lot of loyalty points, but you're never going to spend it if you didn't enjoy your stay. And in the end, everyone knows someone that continuously booked the same thing, right? That one true loyal guest that made several bookings. But you also referred to it this morning, that one typically a bit older people that tend to go every year to the same location, the same hotel. Okay, that is a bit old-fashioned. We do see a trend to make it different. I do realize saying it out loud that I'm getting old, because if I refer back to my winter sport, the holiday for snowboarding, I go back to the same hotel for over 10 years already. So, okay, sorry, guilty for that. But you do see that trend where people start changing and they want to explore. And what you also see, and Bartje referred to that this morning as well, is people start getting loyal to a brand. There are so incredibly a lot of options online. It's really hard and time consuming to find that perfect holiday. If you stayed with a holiday partner before and you enjoyed, it's quite easy to turn back and find your next holiday with them as well. Luckily, I feel a bit less old in that area because I also applicable to me. I have 2 types of holiday. My winter sport, I go back every year. Every year I go back to the same hotel, same city, same village. Summer I do it differently. For summer we always try to go to a new place, explore new things. But we do use quite a lot of our familiar booking channels. So either the brand or maybe the tour operator. Recognize it, and I think you might probably do it as well. So make sure you have your basics ready. Second step, after you actually made your basics, you need to make sure that you decide what to do with your loyalty program. And just create a program, but you need to think about your vision and what to do with it. How do you want to look like? Do you want a point-based? Do you want a different? That's what you really want to do. And most important, who do you want to reach? I've also heard this morning about those colorful personalities, the creative ones, the all the other colors that they had this morning. It's applicable here too. You want to reach, there's some match with you. And I personally don't really believe that everyone just is one profile. You can be a mix. But it does fit. Referring back to my winter sport, the ski holiday, snowboarding, I'm very conservative. I'm really in that corner where I want it to be fixed and planned, predictable. If I look at my holiday, I'm really into a top creative corner and I want to explore. I think that applies, but still, your loyalty program should be adapted to what you want to reach. To give some tools, and I really forget almost the most important one. This is also your opportunity to be unique, to stand out from the crowd. Everyone can have a loyalty program, but the loyalty programs are different. And the way you do the setup makes a difference and makes you unique. What options do you have? I have a few examples, and of course you can go quite a long mile. But the first one, tiered membership levels. We can think about gold, bronze, silver, all kind of levels, depending just on the number of bookings they have, depending on the number of nights they stayed, or potentially depending on the value they spend with you. Maxxton software supports you in that. So you can set up Maxxton software to create and apply those levels automatically based on rules. And you can actually give automated discounts using those status levels. I know Floris, you with RCN are actively using this feature already. You have the peacock kind of woodpecker, all the birds. And once you reach that level, you'll just get a free automatic discount. It's a very effective way, and it's used a lot, right? A lot of bookings generated.
Are we connected with our other systems as well through API and so on. Just like the restaurant, we offer a free cup of coffee or something else as well.
Yeah.
We combine
So
it with other
I think it's a very good example of using those tiered membership level. Next to that, you could also choose to have a points-based system. So you could also decide that you're just going to give your guest points based on stays or based on the value they spent. And using those points, you can actually spend more and return them back for a next stay. Having those two does not eliminate the other. They can really live together and they actually can elevate each other. The third one I really want to highlight are personal rewards. As I said in the beginning, having a general reward, it doesn't make people feel special. And only if you feel special, you feel valued, and if you feel valued, you start enjoying, and if you enjoy, you come back. Make the rewards as personal as possible. For example, using vouchers, using statuses, there's a lot of ways to do it, but make things personal. And the fourth one is slightly different in the line, but it's an important one. Don't forget that if you have a company that has a lot of different inventories, that it's okay to make a difference. If you have both campsites and you have both luxurious villas in one setup, it's okay to give different amounts of points for the campsites or for the villas. It's okay to have a different perk just because you booked the villa. Those different types of products will have a different audience and you'll have a different type of guest arriving, so it makes sense to think about it. Third step is make it easy. It's very important that you don't overcomplicate it. Why do we say for both sides? It's important that it's simple to understand for your guest, but also for your employee. It won't work if either one of those two will fail. Example, if your employee is not able to explain it in 30 seconds to a guest how the program works, only not going to work. Everyone gets confused. Another example is onboarding. If people need to take too many steps to take part of your loyalty program, they'll never start loyalty program, so you can start doing whatever you like, but it's a waste of your time. With the fourth step, we just really want to make it personal. So don't make a generic thing. Make it more personalized and use all the data that you have to target them so that they feel that you're really talking to you and not just to everyone in the room at the same time. One of the examples that you can take is location of specific offers. If you really have a lot of destinations and you have things at the coast, you can have different features or perks or rewards for those locations compared to others. But the other one that I really want to highlight is that your communication counts. The way you address them is important. So sending out an email, for example, through our notification manager, make sure you use the tags to dynamically identify who they are. Here I only used a very simple example of the first name. But getting a message where it just says, "Hi, Linda," or it feels different than it says, "Hi." Very close to that is the timing. It makes quite a lot of difference on when you do what. It depends on when do you give the points. One of our advices is usually to do the rewards based on checkout. Why? Because you are sure that it won't change and you don't need to revert things. You don't promise anything that won't happen. And it's just very clear, simple, and predictable. On the other hand, you could also consider that you work with a check-in level. If you would say, I really want to have the first-time visitor to offer them some coffee during the stay, it's a bit weird to give the voucher for the free coffee after departure. So think about what do you want to achieve with your reward and put the right timing on top of it. And finally, one of the last examples I gave here is you can also decide if you work with points, how these points will expire. Is that just a fixed time frame, or do you renew old points if you have a new transaction? So here we have our loyalty program. We have a lot of settings there where you can control your own what will happen. Will they expire? Are they activated straight away? So you just have full control and flexibility to do so. I think that's just it. The sixth step, a very important one, is don't be afraid to break or to bend the rules. What do we want to say with it? You have your guidelines, you have your strict rules when you get points, when do you have a certain status. But there are always use cases where there's some point of discussion, where they're just on the boundary, there is just that miscommunication. You want to be able to act upon that. For that, make sure you always have some key users that are able and allowed to make changes. Don't overdo it. Make sure, again, it's predictable. Don't make a habit out of it, because then everyone will start asking, but use it sparingly and wisely in case it's necessary. Just to give some examples of that area, if you work with those tiered memberships or customer statuses in Maxxton software, if you set them automatically, you can also manually override them. And you can easily just set it with a date, and then they temporarily get the gold member status, and they temporarily get all the benefits of that gold member status. After the set date, the 14 days in my example, they'll just drop down to the calculated value based on the rules. The other example is, if you really use the points, you could also say, there's a discussion, I'll just give you some points as a compensation. So manually, you can just reward them some points. You can link it to a booking. You can add a manual comment to it. But don't forget, one of the slides that came in between, I didn't explicitly mention it, but a bad stay is never going to be fixed by points only. Don't forget rule number 1, get your basics right. Then, with the 7th step in our 9-step program, keep the loyalty on your radar. What do I want to say with it? It is, you can have an excellent program, but people don't tend to stay with you every week. I wish, you wish, probably, but if they come every year or twice a year, it's already great. It's easily to forget about the points. It's easy to forget about those memberships. Remind them of that. There's tools available, not only in Maxxton software, but there's tools available to remind them of it. And indeed, one of the examples is in the notification manager. You can quite easily just send scheduled messages, either based on the loyalty points or on your customer statuses, to let them know they still have benefits. Maybe a bit of an open door, but I do want to actually mention it, is get your team on board as well. If your team is not fully supporting your loyalty program or is not able to understand your loyalty program, it's not going to work. Your every touch point with your guest will fail if you don't have them with you. So train them thoroughly, make sure they understand and they know the rules. And back to the basics again, if you do the setup of your program, keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. And finally, and I think not the least important one, is really know what happens. Stay on top of your numbers. If you have a very perfectly designed loyalty program, in theory, and you don't look back on if it's actually happening or is actually used, you might actually just have a worthless program. Make sure you use all the data that you have to look back on what happens and how often it's used. One of the examples that we have in Maxxton software, if you use a loyalty program based on points, is that we have a point-based program dashboard. In the dashboard, you have a lot of insights where you can see that how many points are actually open. Do we have a big balance of points, or did we spend a lot? We can check whether it's per loyalty membership tier. The customer statuses are the ones that come once a year, spending them way more than the one that comes only once every 5 years. We can see metrics based on location, accommodation type, accommodation kind, so you really can target where it goes well. If it's spent only on the accommodation, it's never spent on your campsites, if you have both, or if it's never spent on the luxurious apartments or it's on the simple ones, you might want to check the settings and you made it maybe too expensive or too cheap for the other one. So always look back, revert and improve. And the last one that I really want to highlight, it was on the bottom, is we always watch and log every manual transaction that you do. So if you do something with overriding, you can do it. You should do it. You should do it carefully, but we will log it, so at least you can look back why it's done and how often it's done, and is someone misusing it or not. In the end, if that's what you did, you have the 9 steps of a successful loyalty program. And basically, this should be your blueprint of making this the journey into a loyalty program. And I'm at the end of my story. Is there anyone who has questions?